What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Texas Chainsaw Massacre video. Last video we talked about the player count reveal for each game, which will be a 3 versus 4 player scenario. And today, a new post was dropped on the official website for the game, which shares some more details on that decision and what to expect. So we're going to go over that post, and then we'll jump into a few new updates that came from the subreddit as well. Let's start first with the post discussing the 3 versus 4 gameplay. Now, this didn't give us a ton of new information, but I did leave the link in the description below to the full post. But there are a few comments here from Gun Interactive CEO Wes Keltner that I definitely want to spotlight for you right now. We never want to make the same game twice. You either innovate or imitate, and I don't have to tell you which one makes for a better game. Everyone at Gun prefers to innovate and push the genre forward. How do you do this? Well, when it came to the design of Texas, we knew that 3 versus 4 was different. All the mechanics and features are built around this fundamental rethinking of asymmetrical multiplayer. Additionally, when you look at the 74 film, you'll note there's an entire family to deal with, not just Leatherface, so it felt natural to have 3 killers chasing victims. And Wes also said, "We love a good challenge, and there are massive amounts of balance required to make 3 killers feel and play uniquely while still providing exciting gameplay. When you have 3 killers and 4 victims running around a game space, you spend a lot of time on level design, creating shadows and items to hide behind, mixtures of open rooms to move slowly through, while hallways become natural choke points that players can move quickly through to find the next hiding spot. With 3 killers chasing you around, it can be overwhelming. It was also our responsibility to ensure that each level creates exciting moments drenched in terror, but ample spots to create a reprieve and make your next move." Now, we already knew that the victims in the game would be dependent on stealth to survive. In this post, Wes explains a bit on what went into making that possible. Their focus on level design was obviously key, focus on areas that can be used to evade the killer. That said, my biggest takeaway from this post is what sounds like the reliance of an indoor environment to make it work. Wes describes open rooms and narrow hallways and how gameplay would differ between them. Now, for obvious reasons, that style of gameplay changes pretty drastically when you put it into an open Texas field. While I'm definitely not against a small space that creates a claustrophobic feel, because of course that's going to add further to the in-game terror, I am curious just how much gameplay will be had outdoors. Also, Wes mentions levels here, not just a single map. So obviously they already have a plan for future maps. Of course they do. I just wanted to point that out for you. Now, there is just one last paragraph I wanted to share from this post. It says, "Ultimately, 3v4 was the structure the team found most enjoyable for the experience in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This match structure allowed us to keep the family feeling powerful, but not overpowering, and the victims feeling somewhat helpless alone, but dangerous if organized. The asymmetrical aspect in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre became a part of the moment-to-moment design of the game, more than just a bullet point in a design document." Now, I just wanted to emphasize this paragraph from the post as it shows just how much balancing is on their minds. When 3v4 was first confirmed for the game, I saw a lot of comments that had zero faith that balanced gameplay was possible with 3 killers after only 4 survivors. Obviously, they thought of this as well, and they were determined to find a way to make it balanced for both parties. We just simply aren't used to there being more than 1 killer, so it's really hard for us to wrap our heads around that, but I'm really not worried, and I'm sure we'll have more answers soon on just how all of that works. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at a few more answers from Matt Chacha and Andy Cleaves over on the subreddit, starting first with the question on teleportation. Will the Slaughter family be able to teleport in the same fashion as Jason did in Friday the 13th the game? The best way I can answer the teleporting question is the team here at Gun designs games with the horror IP in mind. The concept starts there, and the team strictly develops our games to create the most authentic gaming experience possible to fit that particular IP. So to fully answer your question, no, the family in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre does not teleport. So while the Slaughter family will probably have abilities of their own, teleportation will not be one of them. Obviously, it doesn't really make sense for the IP, so I'm really glad that they went with this decision. And, speaking of the Slaughter family, I want to talk about that a little bit. Why are they called the Slaughter family and not the Sawyers? I love both films, but let's be honest, there isn't much that's consistent from the 1974 original to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. They're also both written by different screenwriters. In 2, the last name was changed to Sawyer, and a whole host of other names were introduced like Nubbins, Drayton, and Bubba. In our game, the Cook, the Hitchhiker, and Leatherface are based off the original 1974 film, and therefore they use the 1974 names as well as the 1974 last name of Slaughter. Calling them Sawyer but having them represent the 74 film would be incorrect. Now, if we were to add in characters that represent the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, they would be named Sawyer. But these characters represent the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of comments on this already. I mean, why do you keep calling them the Slaughters? You're a fake fan. They're the Sawyers. You know, well, here you go. I mean, in all seriousness, I get the confusion behind this, as the Slaughter name isn't exactly in plain sight in the original, and it's really only seen once, with no explanation or emphasis on it. But because of Gunn's attention to detail, the family will be called the Slaughters in-game. That said, it's good to know if they do add characters from different films, they will go with the names established in that film, like the name Bubba for Leatherface in TCM2. Now, last but not least, will the game be first person or third person? I may have already touched on this in the past, I honestly don't remember, but Matt did confirm it previously. But just in case, here you go. Third person confirmed. The game will be third person, and Matt did also confirm that both the killers and victims will be played in third person as well. Now, I don't particularly have a preference on this one, but I know many of you do, so let me know your thoughts on this and all the other details in this video in the comments below. But that's going to wrap this up. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more updates like this in the future. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.